official way station, Missouri Highway and Transportation Department. And my pre-pass started beeping. I saw the right light. Now of course they're gonna pull me in. St. Joseph, Missouri. This is about 1 hour south of Iowa, and I was in a rush to get to this location because tomorrow is July 3rd, and I'm not allowed to drive after midday on July 3rd. That's according to my permit. And now it's all good, so I did about just over 500 miles today. I was rolling pretty good, 62 miles per hour minimum all the time, and went through 2 scales. One of them you saw on my dash cam video, and the second time it was in Missouri, I think, too. Yeah, there was like 2 scales in Missouri, and I'm like 36.7 on my trailer axles, but I have a permit. But how do they know that? Like I go on the scale, they weigh me, and of course they can see that I'm way over legal limit because I have a closed tandem. You can see that it's only 6 foot like between the axles on the trailer. Each time the light is green, go. Alright, I'm not gonna stop and ask them, hey, what are you guys doing? I just get the heck out of there. Oh, and then another interesting thing that happened today, I finally got tired of waiting for my dealer to call me. The trailer dealer, some guys were asking in my channel, what's happening with my new trailer. So I called this guy, and they have this salesman, Jeremy, right? And that Jeremy is like missing in action. We booked this deal. I don't know why Transcraft is so slow, but the lineup, probably because their trailers are so popular, because they're cheap. I think I did it when, like in January or February, like 4 or 5 months ago. And after we signed all the papers and I gave him $1,000, like that's it. Like while we were doing everything, he was easy to find. I could use his cell, I could send him an email, but after we did all the preliminaries, he just disappeared. Never responded to my emails, or it took him like 3 days to respond. Because I was just checking on the status of the order, and especially when the trailer went into production, I was just curious, what's going on, because they told me it was 5 days only. The plant needed only 5 days to build the trailer, so it went into production on June 10th. So by the end of that week, it should have been ready. So, and the latest I heard from them before I left Ontario, they said, "Well, we still haven't heard from the factory." So now I'm just decided to call them because it's a working day, right? Today's what, July 2nd. The holiday is already, like, July 1st was the Canada Day, kind of like the same as Independence Day in US, only in Canada it's July 1st. It's also usually a long weekend. And I called this guy, and of course that Jeremy, I said, "Where's can I talk to Jeremy?" "Oh, he's not, he's off till Thursday." Like, he's never there. And I know this guy that answers the phone, he's actually the owner. Greg, he's actually the owner of the dealership. So why should I bother talking to that guy? He's never there, right? So I asked, "Hey, so what's the deal with my trailer?" And finally he gives me the good news. He says, "Yeah, it was off the line. It was finished this past Thursday or Friday. Basically, I think it was 21st. No, wait a second. What 21st? Today's 2nd. So it was done on either 27th or 28th of June. I don't know why it took them so long, right? From 10th of June to 28th. Maybe that's what it is, you know, like 2 weeks. I think 1 week is it's too soon, especially since this is a 3-axle trailer, you know. So basically they create, can you believe this? They create a brand new trailer in 2 weeks. Like, there was nothing, just pieces of metal, parts, bolts, you know, aluminum, those extrusions for the floor, and then people start working. Boom, 2 weeks later you got a brand new trailer, painted with a huge frame, you know, that can take 90,000 pounds of a load. Amazing. Oh, and one more thing that happened today. So yeah, and I don't know yet when I'm picking this up because they have to pay for it first, right? But probably if I was in Ontario, sometime later this week I could have picked it up. But because they didn't tell me what was going on, I said I have to make some money, so I'm going to Calgary. And I'll be back probably next week, not this week. But it's all good. I'll probably just bobtail there, this Cadiz, Kentucky, and bobtail there, kind of like a mini vacation. I love driving my truck with no trailer. And then I'll just pick up that step, and I'll find a load out of US for a step deck. And those loads usually pay pretty good out of US going back to Ontario, especially since this is Kentucky, this is south. I can get something in Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and I'll make maybe a couple of $1,000. And I'll bring it back, and I'll at the border I'll declare like 2 loads. One load will be the trailer, and the other load will be the load on the trailer. So it's all legal, it's all perfectly legitimate. And then when I deliver the load, I'll take the trailer to the dealer, and we'll just finalize everything, and they'll do the inspection. Because Lansdowne needs a DOT inspection on the new trailer. So, oh, and one more thing, I did decide to check the ground points on my truck, because that problem keeps happening. Not every time, but maybe a couple of times a day. You know, like when I turn the key, nothing happens. So I stopped by one shop, and the guy says check your ground near the battery, and another ground near the starter. So this is a Love's Truck Stop, and they have a full service shop here, not just tires. So they charge me like $70, but you know, I don't want to do it again. It's just, I mean, myself, because even with all their tools, it took them a while to undo the bolts and nuts near the battery there to disconnect that thing, and I don't know, it probably took them an hour for the battery and the starter. But the guy did give me a good tip. He says my hood was open, and he went to the passenger side of the truck, and he shows to the firewall, and over there there's like some kind of like a gadget like this size, and there's like a whole bunch of cables connected to it. Not the one that I cleaned, but it's right over there above it. and he says, "Did you ever change this thing?" And I'm like, "What's that?" He says, "Well, that's your solenoid something." Turns out that piece over there on the passenger side of the truck, right on the firewall, like I have my fuse box on this side, and on the other side of the fuse box it sits that thing over there. It's kind of like a relay. So it turns out that's the thing that activates the solenoid. Can you believe this? And he says, the guy said that he's been doing this for a while, like he sounds like he's experienced, and no one else told me about this. But he said that part often goes, you know, kaput, so it can be bad. And he says, I can guarantee you that it's not your ignition. It's probably not even the short in the battery or the starter. It's that thing over there. He says, just. I said, how expensive is it? And he says, oh, probably 30-40 bucks. But the international dealer was already closed because it was like 8 o'clock local time. And he gave me the name, so I looked it up on the Google Maps, so I know the address, and basically it's right there, like maybe 2 kilometers from here. So, and they open at 7 tomorrow, so I'm just gonna stop there on my way. I'm going north on 29 towards Iowa, so I'm just gonna stop by this international, pick up this part, and then maybe either install it myself or just any shop, any truck stop shop will be able to install it. Just like a few bolts there. I just don't know how easy they are to, you know, to unscrew, because they're probably all corroded, all rusted out, because all that stuff is you know, 9 years old. So those are the news. So I made it to Missouri, and the guy's backing next to me, of course, at an angle, blind side. I don't know what the heck is he doing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be safe and happy Independence Day.